So today, the president backed off on the Insurrection Act against protesters, right? But he then had the DOJ go after the Democrats who oppose him in Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, allegedly trying to impede immigration agents in Minnesota. Look, this is a pretty easy read, right? What is this about? ICE is doing too much. It's too harsh. You're hurting too many people. It's a bad look. Forget about the insurrection thing because it brings up January 6th and how you're going to do that here when we did nothing there. Okay. But you got to keep blasting the Democrats. It's got to be their fault. You got to blame them for everything. So he calls the DOJ, because it might as well be his secretary, and go after those guys with this BS notion, which sounds like what? Starting an insurrection, right? Here's what Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino and Democratic Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar each had to say to NewsNation earlier today.
It's the anarchists, the rioters, and some of the protesters that get out of line that are using way too much force in what they're doing against federal law enforcement. Our mission here, Allie, is legal, ethical, and moral.
Do not let your anger get the best of you. We are justified in the rage that we feel as Minnesotans with the paramilitary force that is roaming our streets. But giving in to that rage gives them license to terrorize more.
My response: Omar is the face of rage for the far left that has this weird forgiveness for fundamentalism, okay, which is why they're kind of basically ignoring what's happening in Iran when Gaza was like the most important thing in the world. So all she is outrage as a start and an end. And the ICE director, the Bovino that you just saw, you know, that's not just true in this situation. Antifa, outlying anarchists, people who come in who get paid or get off on causing trouble and doing too much while insinuating themselves into a crowd is not unique to this. It's just new to you at ICE. But this is what we've seen in every community that is dealing with public outcry over an abuse of perceived use of force. That's what happens. It's not protest. It's not legal. It's a riot. It's a crime. But it's not specific to this. You see what I'm saying? All right. So what is the true state of play and what needs to change? ICE Director under the Obama administration, Sarah Saldaña, and former Trump DHS official, Cooper Smith. Good to have you both. Thank you very much for joining me before the long weekend. When you look at this, Sarah, what do you believe they need to do to accomplish their objective of what they said was going after the bad guys and getting the localities to work with them?
Well, that's a big ask. I spent a good part of my time visiting parts hither and yon to try cities that were passing immigration protections to immigrants and what many people call sanctuary cities, although I object to that term itself because that means a lot of different things to different people. But there is no substitute for communication. There is no substitute for being an adult in the room. There is no substitute for saying this has gone way too far on both sides. But to say that the governor and the mayor need to be investigated starts reeking. And it's one thing the American public insists on. I, as an American citizen, insist on, is for there to be fairness and equality and equal application of the law on people. It should not appear to have, if not actually in fact has, a political motive. And I mean, pick the vice presidential candidate from the last election that ran against you. It just smells very bad. But I want to make sure your audience understands I am a believer in the mission. I ran the agency, and I know many of these agents out there. The direction was so different at my time. that it's not recognizable today, I'm afraid to say.
Hey, Coop, let me ask you something. This reporting that the president understands that the optics are bad now on ICE and there needs to be a shift. Do you buy that? Do you anticipate that?
Well, thanks for having me back on, Chris. Actually, I want to, your opening monologue, Chris, you said that the president instructed DOJ to issue these subpoenas. I'm not sure if that's true, so I just want to set the record straight there. I haven't seen that. We do know that subpoenas have been issued, but there's a whole lot about this investigation that we don't know. And as to your question about polling, Chris, look, we just conducted a poll back in December, so a month ago, showing that 58% of the American people actually support ICE's mission. I think it depends on how you ask the question, but the media often does this, right? A big story comes out, obviously the tragic shooting of Renee Good, officer-involved shooting, and the media immediately gets their friends in the polling industry to get them favorable results and then reports on them. So look, I think the poll that mattered was on November 5th, 2024, and I don't think this is going to deter the president.
Well, that's it depends on what his objective is, right, Coop? I mean, if he's looking at this in terms of, is this good for me? I think he's getting a message that, no, it's not good for you. Because there's a difference between the message, the mission, as Sarah calls it, and the methods. So, Sarah, Obama, deporter-in-chief. There was no outrage like this during your time, and I covered it. Why? Because you weren't doing this. You got some heat. You had the kids in cages. You had people dying in custody. I think it was over the 8 years, you had several dozen people died in government custody. But there was one different talk. You're right. But what else happened that was different that led to the outcome of the mission, as you say, getting rid of people who are not supposed to be here? But it wasn't like this. Why?
Well, because of the targeted issues we had identified, the priorities within the administration. That is so valid. And in fact, I'm sure there's a lot of things that are happening right with the people, some of the people that are being removed. But it's at a minimum disingenuous to say that that's everyone we're removing. They're all rapists, sexual predators, murderers. From what I have seen, and we've gotten a report recently on North Texas, where I am, and it indicates that up to 70% or more of the people have no criminal convictions. Is that making the public safer? And we're spending billions on it. I only had $6 billion to play with. And now we've got $80 billion. Just because you can, is that a wise use of taxpayers' money? I leave it to the public to decide, but it doesn't seem to be to me.
Coop, last word to you. You say, hey, we had a poll, majority of the people support the ICE mission. I agree with you. And I think it would be really foolish for any politician to say they are against removing violent criminals who aren't supposed to be in the country. I think that's political malpractice. But what do you think happens going forward? You said you don't think the president's deterred, meaning what?
No, I don't think the president's deterred. I don't think Border Czar Tom Homan is deterred, or Secretary Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller for that matter. I think they're going to continue on this mission. And the other distinction with Sarah's comments when she was ICE director, and I give her a lot of credit, that's a tough job no matter what administration you're talking about, is that you didn't have 4 years of President Biden opening the border wide open to 10 or 15 million people, 18,000 terrorists. There's a lot of differences between what Donald Trump was dealing with now in his DHS and what Sarah dealt with back at the end of the Obama administration. So I don't think this is going to deter the president at all from his mission. He was elected on this platform, and he's going to deliver it.
I think the goal is one thing. I think the methodology is what is up for discussion, or at least I hope it is. I hope what I'm hearing is right, but we'll see, and we'll probably see soon. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.